So you've been told your whole life, follow your passion and you'll never work a day in your life. But what if that's not just wrong, but dangerous? What if chasing passion actually makes you miserable? Welcome to So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, a powerful manifesto that tears down the follow your passion myth and replaces it with a smarter, more realistic path to a meaningful career. Today, we'll uncover the 4 rules Newport lays out, and by the end, you'll know exactly how to build a life you love. Rule number 1, don't follow your passion. The passion of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs famously told Stanford graduates to find what you love, advice that inspired millions to pursue their dreams. But if you look at Jobs' own path, you see something entirely different. As a young man, Jobs was more interested in Zen Buddhism and spiritual exploration than in technology. He dropped out of college, traveled to India, lived in communes, and took odd jobs simply to get by. He stumbled into Apple by spotting a business opportunity to build and sell hobbyist computer kits with his friend Steve Wozniak. At the time, Jobs wasn't chasing a passion. He was hustling to make a profit and explore possibilities. Over time, as Apple grew, his passion followed his growing skills, accomplishments, and the impact he was making on the world. This story flips the follow your passion narrative on its head. Jobs didn't start passionate about technology. He became passionate because he got really good at creating products people loved. His story teaches that passion often comes after skill and mastery, not before. Passion is rare. Newport supports this idea with research showing that most people simply don't have a clear, marketable passion to follow. He looks at the Road Trip Nation project, where students interviewed dozens of people with fulfilling careers. What they discovered was eye-opening. Most of these people didn't start out knowing what they wanted to do. Their journeys were messy, shaped by trial and error, curiosity, and a growing sense of competence. Ira Glass, the acclaimed radio host, explained that mastery happens in stages, not overnight. You don't sit around waiting for a lightning bolt of passion. You work, you get better, and then you start to care deeply. The astrobiologist Andrew Steele agreed, saying he simply wanted options when starting out and only later found his calling. Similarly, craftsmen like Al Merrick and William Morris didn't begin with a grand vision. Instead, they focused on being the best at whatever they were doing, and passion grew from there. A study of Canadian students reinforced this idea. 84% claimed to have a passion, but 96% of those passions were hobbies like sports, reading, or art, not career-related. Only a tiny fraction had passions that could translate into a fulfilling profession. So the assumption that everyone has a hidden passion just waiting to be discovered is largely false. Passion is dangerous. Not only is the passion hypothesis unrealistic, it can also be harmful. When people believe their dream job is out there, waiting for them to find it, they tend to become disillusioned when their reality doesn't measure up. This leads to job hopping, constant dissatisfaction, and a sense of failure. The rise of this mindset can be traced back to the 1970s with books like What Color Is Your Parachute?, which popularized the idea of aligning work with personal interests. Since then, phrases like follow your passion have become part of our cultural DNA. But even as this idea became more mainstream, job satisfaction actually declined. Surveys show that fewer and fewer Americans feel happy at work, and younger workers, the group most likely to believe in passion, report the highest rates of dissatisfaction. Newport also shares personal stories of people who followed their passion only to end up unhappy. One young man landed his dream job in politics, but quickly doubted whether it was perfect enough, restarting his search all over again. Another kept quitting jobs that didn't instantly feel meaningful, leaving her aimless and frustrated. For most people, the passion hypothesis creates unrealistic expectations, disappointment, and anxiety. Instead of helping you find happiness, it keeps you chasing a fantasy. Rule number 2, be so good they can't ignore you. The clarity of the craftsman. If follow your passion doesn't work, what does? Newport argues that you should adopt the craftsman mindset. Instead of asking, what can my job give me? You should ask, what can I offer the world? The craftsman mindset is all about creating value. Instead of obsessing over your own happiness, Focus on becoming excellent at something, and the satisfaction will follow. Newport contrasts this with a passion mindset, where people constantly wonder if their job is good enough, which often leads to frustration and quitting too soon. He introduces the idea of focusing not on what you want, but on what you can create, because the world rewards rare and valuable skills. The power of career capital. Here, Newport introduces the concept of career capital, the valuable skills and experiences you build over time. Just like financial capital, career capital gives you leverage. The more you master your craft, the more opportunities you have to shape your career the way you want. Building career capital means practicing deliberately, taking on challenges that stretch your abilities, and investing in learning. It's the currency that lets you negotiate better work conditions, more freedom, and more impact. The career capitalists. Newport shares case studies of people who became career capitalists, individuals who build exceptional skills and use that capital to craft meaningful, autonomous careers. He profiles musicians, computer programmers, craftsmen, and academics who didn't start with a clear passion but committed themselves to mastering their field. Because they became so good at what they did, they gained control over their work and shaped it into something they loved. Becoming a craftsman. Finally, Newport explains how to adopt the craftsman mindset. It's not about mindless repetition. It's about deliberate practice, working at the edge of your abilities, seeking constant feedback, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Deliberate practice is hard. It requires discipline, focus, and resilience. But it's also what separates amateurs from masters, and it's how you build the career capital you'll need to create work you truly love. Rule number 3, turn down a promotion. The Dream-Job Elixir. Once you've built career capital, those rare and valuable skills that set you apart, you're faced with choices. One tempting path is to cash in that capital for promotions, titles, or higher salaries. But Newport warns that chasing promotions too soon or for the wrong reasons can trap you in roles that actually reduce your autonomy and happiness. Here he introduces the idea of the Dream-Job Elixir. This is the intoxicating feeling you get when you start to realize you have leverage. You're respected, people notice your abilities, and opportunities come your way. But if you're not careful, you may spend that hard-earned career capital on conventional markers of success instead of what really brings fulfillment, control over your work and your life. The power of control. What really makes a job meaningful, Newport argues, is control. This means having the ability to decide how, when, and where you work, shaping your job to fit your life and values. Autonomy is one of the most powerful predictors of happiness at work. But here's the catch. You can't demand control before you've earned it. Organizations will only grant autonomy to those who have proven they can deliver exceptional results. Control gives you freedom to choose the projects you work on, to dictate your schedule, and to align your work with your personal mission. It's what turns a good job into a great one, but must be earned by first building career capital. The first control trap. Many people fall into what Newport calls the first control trap. They try to seize autonomy too early before they have any real career capital. This can lead to failure because they haven't yet demonstrated their value. For example, someone might demand to work remotely or refuse standard responsibilities without having proven themselves indispensable. From an employer's perspective, that can look like entitlement, and it often backfires. The second control trap. On the flip side, once you have built substantial career capital, you face a new challenge, the second control trap. At this stage, your employer doesn't want to let you go because you're so valuable. They may resist giving you more freedom, trying to keep you locked into your current role. To overcome this, you have to be willing to take risks and use your capital to negotiate for autonomy, even if it means turning down promotions or leaving a secure job. The lesson here is that control is not handed out freely. It must be fought for, but only when you've built the skills and credibility to justify it. Rule number 4, think small, act big. The meaningful life. With career capital and control in place, the next level is to find a mission, a bigger purpose that drives your work. But Newport warns that missions are not something you can simply pick off a shelf. They emerge naturally from expertise. Only when you've mastered a field can you see the opportunities to make a meaningful impact. The passion mindset makes you believe you need to identify your mission right away. But the reality is that missions come after years of hard work, when you finally develop the skills to see what others can't. The law of financial viability. Even when you identify a mission, you have to make sure it's sustainable. Newport calls this the law of financial viability, the idea that your mission must intersect with something people are willing to pay for. This ensures that your mission isn't just inspiring, but also practical and sustainable over the long term. Too many people pursue grand, idealistic missions without testing their feasibility. Newport's advice is to use your career capital to experiment with potential missions while making sure they align with real-world demand. Becoming a missionary. Finally, Newport describes how to live out your mission through a mindset of experimentation and small bets. Don't expect to find your life's work in one leap. Instead, test different ideas, take calculated risks, and let your mission evolve organically. He gives examples of individuals who became missionaries, people who built fulfilling careers by identifying a mission after mastering their craft. They experimented, adjusted, and grew into their roles over time. The secret is to start small, act boldly, and let your mission guide you step by step. The key lesson from So Good They Can't Ignore You is simple but profound. Don't set out to find the perfect job that matches your passion. Instead, become so good they can't ignore you. Master your craft, build rare and valuable skills, gain control, and discover a mission. When you do, passion will follow. So stop searching for the right job and start working right. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which rule resonated most with you.